Using support and resistance may be the only trading strategy that you're going to need for crypto. I'm going to show you how to actually get these on the chart, exactly how I've drawn them here, how I color code them, how I get these areas, and why they are so important. Prices really do coalesce around support and resistance levels, and whether you're trading crypto or anything else, it's literally the first thing a trader will do is put the support and resistance on there to show them key levels that they want to trade around. From there, it really is just a case of deciding whether you think we're in an uptrend or a downtrend, and then using the support and resistance to make your trades. I'm going to go through using support and resistance in this video, plus how to actually use it to go ahead and trade as well. So make sure to check out the timestamps in the video description. I'll make each section a timestamp, and other helpful videos and links are down there as well. Also, you're going to need a trading system, of course, something that has charting software. I'm going to use Bybit for this one. So you can use Bybit if you want. They actually give you a deposit bonus on there as well. You can get up to $4,000 as a deposit bonus. I'll leave that link in the description. When you go up, when you sign up, you can make a deposit and they'll give you a deposit bonus in your futures trading account, and then you can use that to go ahead and trade. If Bybit isn't available for you, I'll leave a link to some other platforms that you can use as well. But what we really want to do now is figure out what is support and resistance and why is it important. So you can see these lines that I've got on here, and they really are areas where the chart actually meets resistance or support when it's moving. That's why it's called support and resistance. Now, I'm going to get rid of these and show you how I actually draw these lines and why they're important. So if we can think of support, when the price is coming down, at what point will it stop going down, right? So that is known as support. To the upside, when the price goes up, when it meets resistance and it starts to go down again, that is obviously resistance, right? So support is when the price is coming down, but you're looking for some sort of area of support for the price where buyers come back in and push the price up. And then resistance is when you're moving up and you're thinking, sellers are going to come in and really close off the price. So what I want to do now is really draw this on and really show you these areas. So let's go for a yellow one right here, make it a bit bigger. Where is the area on this chart that is support and resistance? So what you can see right here is an area on the chart that is definitely resistance. So as we come down, what we can see is that there's an area here that the chart kind of meets a resistance level. So the price, as shown by candles, is coming up, meets resistance here and gets rejected off. The price then moves up again to this same price. Obviously, the price is on the right-hand side. It meets resistance and gets sold off again. And then it comes up for a third time into this same area, meets resistance again and gets sold off. So what we can know is when the price is moving up, there is a price that is a resistance level. Now, what we can also see as well is that the resistance is here as well to the right-hand side. We'll just go over here. You can definitely see this resistance level right here. So we'll just draw that in, and you can see the price basically comes up, gets rejected, comes up again, and gets rejected. So this is resistance. Now, obviously, support is the complete opposite of that. You can see a massive area of support right here, right? So the price comes down, gets support, and then bounces up again. Where is support again? Definitely right here is support level, because the price is coming down, it meets support and then goes up. So that is support for the price. And then we can see down here, there are two areas of support. There's a support level here and another support level here where the candle wicks down. So that is support and resistance. Now, something else to kind of think about is, so these are key price levels, right? So whatever the price is, when it meets a very key area of support and resistance, that is a key price level. Now, what happens also is that support can actually turn into resistance. Previous support can turn into resistance. So I just want to kind of highlight that here. So you can see what you can do is split the chart up into kind of different areas. What I'm looking at is a day chart, meaning each candlestick is a day. So we're looking at many months worth of trade, right? And within each period, there is a period in the market where it trades on certain news or events or something like that. So what you can see right here is that this is definitely, during this mini cycle, an area of support where the price gets sold off, it meets this very strong level of support and the price moves up again. But what you can also see is that this support level basically a few months later has actually turned into resistance somewhat, right? So you can see this area that is support, but right now during a downtrend, this same price is basically resistance where the price is coming off. Okay, so support can turn into resistance, and resistance can also turn into support. Let's try and find some resistance levels and see if we can see that. So yeah, what we can see here is this is resistance right now, right? So the price is trying to break through, but it breaks down. But basically when the price does break through and comes back off, this level right here is basically the support level for the price to move higher. So hopefully that explains support and resistance. There are key levels and areas of trade where the chart coalesces around that are either resistance to the upside or support to the downside. Now, the next thing obviously is we want to draw these lines on. These obviously are something we can use to show us levels of trade where the price might go in the future. So all we need to do now is just draw a trend line. And you can color code these. I color code these to just make it kind of easier for you guys to see. But what we can see definitely is this right here is a key level. So what I'm going to do is just draw the line over here and forward. And you can see that we have this resistance, kind of turns into support right here, turns into support, and then breaks through and is kind of a resistance line here. So that's good. And we can draw another line, right? So find support again, we can find this line. This is kind of the end of the support, right? The lower level of support right here. So this is a key level, and draw this over. And then what we can see here is probably another line, right? So I would bring this a little bit closer and say this is a key line right here. So that was a kind of mini resistance level, and you can see that right here. So what you want to do is find these really key areas of support and resistance, and then extrapolate them over to the right-hand side of the chart, because this is what you're going to use now as areas of trade, like literally the price at which you set your levels to buy and sell, depending on whether you think you're in an uptrend or a downtrend. So here's how you trade with the trend using support and resistance levels. You can use this as a day trade if you want to use a shorter time frame chart, or you can use it with the day chart and as a swing trade. It's really up to you. It's all the same, it's just same levels. So what we can see right here is obviously you can use moving averages as well. What I would suggest is there's a few concepts that I'm going to talk about that you may not know. Obviously, I go over this a lot more in my crypto investor course. I would suggest this if you are a newbie. There's basically an entire crypto and investing course. You can see the trading section here. We have a lot of sections, but the trading section is massive, and it goes through all the basics and some of the more complex things that you might need to know about when trading. I definitely suggest it. It's a one-time purchase, and then you get free content for the rest of time. It's updated every month or so with new content, and that comes free of charge. We also have Discord groups where you can come and chat with people and learn everything more. So I'll leave that linked in the description if you need that. But what I'm going to do now is essentially use two things. First is the support and resistance, and then moving averages. Moving averages are really important as well to get the kind of short-term momentum of the trade. So what you can see here is I've got a 50 period and a 200 period moving average. Now what you can see, we have the 50 period here, which is a shorter term moving average. And what you can see is essentially we have a bounce off of a support level, and this is converging with this moving average moving up. So that's telling us we could possibly be reversing a downtrend that we saw here. A reversal of a trend, and that's good for me. So what we can do is maybe predict that we're going to be in an uptrend, and that's obviously very good. Now, let's just suggest for the purposes of this video that we've decided, we've looked at the news and the events and what's going on in the macro, and we've decided we're going to start an uptrend right here. So what we do is place areas on the chart, support and resistance, that we kind of have a look at. You probably wouldn't have bought this dip and this support. This is when China banned Bitcoin mining. So you're a very risky trader if you bought this. But what you might have done is waited until the price met some sort of support and resistance at this level, and you can see it did around this level. And if you think that we are entering into an uptrend, what you do is buy these dips back to support, and then sell when you meet the next resistance. So what we can see right here is that we have a key level here where you get a sell-off into a support level. Now, if you think we're in an uptrend, what you do is you buy the dip, essentially. You buy the support and you ride it into the next level. I would say the next level, looking at the chart, is around here because that's when you met. You can see this support level right here. This would turn into resistance, and it just so happens that it does turn into resistance. So using support and resistance, and it's key that you make a decision on which way the market is going. If you think we're in an uptrend, you buy dips and you buy when the price comes off and meets this support. You buy this dip and you ride it into the next resistance level. That would have been 10 to 15% as a move. A great move, right? That's actually a huge move, but that's exactly what it did. It pretty much went from this dip up to the next resistance level. So you can see, as long as you know the trend, then you can buy dips in an uptrend and sell at those resistance levels. Now, one of the ways you do that is also by looking at the 50 period. You can see we're in a downtrend here, and you can see the downtrend is actually starting to cool off because the moving average is starting basically to flatten out, which means the strength of the move of the downtrend is starting to stop and reverse. You need to, that's key, right? When this trend starts to reverse, this is when you want to trade that reversal and possibly move to the upside. And you can see that happens here. There's a ton of support and resistance around this level because this just happens to be where the 50 is moving through the 200. And that's, again, just an area of support and resistance, and the chart almost always gets around these levels. So that is one way of doing things, trading with the trend and saying, yep, I'm confident we're in a bull run and I'm going to buy dips and sell when we meet resistance. A slightly more difficult strategy than this is trying to see reversals in the trend. And it's really important to try and see these reversals anyway, even if you don't trade them, because a reversal is when you might get caught out. So it's really important to try and spot these as well. And it's really difficult to do this. And there are many factors including kind of news and events and things happening in the world that can really change things. So you can't really predict these by the chart, but it's good to see some of the signs to kind of make sure that you're not trading and fooling around. So what I'm talking about is a reversal in the trend. And you can see what happens here. So a trend, and I go over this in the crypto course, so if you want to know more about this, I can't really explain it too much in detail for this video, but a trend is essentially, to the upside anyway, is higher highs and higher lows. So you can see the low each time is just getting higher, right? And obviously that's the low getting higher, and then the high is getting higher each time, right? And this is just a classic trend. Now what you get is this much higher high, but we have a reversal here. We have this huge kind of sell-off, right? So now we're thinking, are we going to bounce from this pullback? Are we still in an uptrend, or are we starting a downtrend? And what you can sometimes do from here is lower low and lower high is the start of a downtrend. So what you can see is that this was the high right here, but the next high is lower, and it actually comes right off this area of resistance. So something you might do here is be very careful, because what's happened is that potentially this uptrend is kind of failing a little bit. Now, what's really important to know here is that because we've had a pullback, if you still believe there's an uptrend, what you would do is actually go long at this price, right? And get fooled into thinking that the price is going higher, but you got dumped on. So it's really important to understand if we can spot these reversals. Now, obviously, you can use this to your advantage as well, is that if you see basically that you're printing kind of a lower high, and this is starting to reverse, instead of going long here, you're actually going to go short here and sell, and then buy back at the next area of support, which is down here. It's incredibly difficult to see these reversals, but there are a few other patterns that can be used to try and predict these. One of them is something known as a double top. That is a bearish indicator. A double top is when you see the price move to the same level and try to break through it twice, and it basically gets rejected. This is a bearish move, and what you can see now is that we were in an uptrend right here, but basically this double top is an indicator that the trend is going to reverse, and it actually did and went down. So that's a little bit more complex, and it goes into some charting methods as well, and some patterns as well. I can't go over that in this video. Like I said, they are in the course, but there are a lot of different things that can show you whether a price is actually going to start reversing, and that may save you basically some losses overall. Now what we need to do is actually put our trade in, and I'm going to show you how I do that using support and resistance when I've made a decision whether I want to go long or short. So what we need to do is firstly find the trend right here. Now, some things have happened in the market. What we can see is that Bitcoin's had a terrible sell-off, but it looks like from the moving average that we might be kind of leveling out and possibly reversing here. Also, we can look at the chart right here, is that there may be a possible double bottom in play, which is a trend reversal. And there are other macro factors as well that I won't go into, but essentially it looks like the market may be in for a little bit of a recovery. So we may be looking to kind of test levels again. So what we can do here is look at support and resistance and then put these in. So let's just say that I've decided I want to go long right here. You can see we're right at this key area right now, so this may be a good time to get in. So if you go in at this level around here, what you want to do is place a stop loss at some point underneath, and I'd probably put it in around this level here, as that is support, a little bit lower maybe, just to give yourself a bit of breathing room, with the expectation that we could possibly, if we think we're going long, kind of test this level around here. You can either go for a short-term trade and maybe get out when it's at this level, or if you want to go longer, and be in the trade longer, you can try and ride up to this next kind of macro resistance right here. So you can see I'm using levels in the chart, support and resistance levels, to go in and then find my stop loss and take profit as well. You can use a take profit and stop loss of your choosing and make the risk reward kind of up to you. What you might want to do when you're actually trading as well is come down to the 4 hour, or just at least a chart that is somewhat a little bit more kind of for a day trade, right? So a shorter term chart, and then see these levels. So you might want to go long here and then put in your kind of stop loss right here, and then say you're going to be taking profits around here or something like that. Go into that trade, know your risk reward ratio before you get in, which in this case is around 2.94. You might say, well, I'm actually just going to take profits a little bit earlier and then make it a little bit more risky. You can play around with these levels, but definitely see support and resistance to put these in. And then once you've done it, let the trade run out. If you lose and you got it wrong, then you lose and you got it wrong. If you got it right, then obviously just let the trade play out and obviously put your take profit in. You can see, I'm not going to show you how to put orders in. I think you know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, that is all in the Crypto Investor course. So if you want to trade on Bybit, I'll leave the link in the description. You can get up to $4,000 as a deposit bonus. If you want to know how I trade, invest, and see my trade alerts, that's all in the Crypto Investor course. I'll leave that linked in the description as well. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.